Hi guys, I've been preparing to get my first ever contest clear in some Destiny endgame content, and in order to make sure that my loadout, my build, like everything was absolutely perfectly tuned, I wanted to speak to a pro that had world firsted before, and who would be able to help me figure out what was good, what was meta, and what was OP. And so I talked to Saltagreppo on stream, and he very generously laid out a huge amount of information about prepping for endgame, and while some of it was specifically tailored to my speaker's site build on Solar Warlock, the vast majority of the conversation was focused on things that apply to all classes, and anyone listening to this video that is starting to get to endgame and wants to sharpen their loadout and sharpen their gear selection skills is going to get a huge amount of value from this video. There are timestamps down below with Salt talking about specific guns, specific things in mods, for example, stuff like that. All sorts of different stuff's linked down there, so click around and enjoy the video. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, nice to meet you, man. How's it going? How are you?
Good, doing good. You?
Yeah, I've been trying to sort of ingest like years and years of new Destiny stuff in a mere matter of days. So there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh god, the information is too much. But overall, it's a good problem to have. It means there's lots of content to chew on. So I'm having a good time.
Yeah, that's the important part. It's gonna be impossible to assimilate everything. You just need to like try to get the most of it, or the most important parts, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like sort of doing a lot of like chat will be like, oh, you should open up this area, and then other people in chat will be like, not gonna help you with the dungeon, don't bother. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. We'll skip that. We'll leave that to another day. As things stand right now, I've got some stuff that is new, but not a huge amount. So I've basically got a very limited selection of exotics. And so in terms of actual loadout prep, I think it might be quite interesting if I show you my vault and some of the stuff that's in there. Maybe I'll show you my collections first. Is that probably a good place to start?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that is not unlocked here.
Yeah, I mean, you have Outbreak, which is super important to have, so that's good.
Okay, is that like that's meta right now?
It's not like it's meta, but when you run out of ammo on your heavies, it's one of the primaries with the highest DPS. If everyone puts it on, like you need multiple people with it.
Oh,
it's if there is a damage phase that's like hella long.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a loadout with it. You swap to it, like all of you, and then you just put with that. It's good. It also charges you super like giga fast because the way the super recharge works is like pretty broken right now, and it's number of hit based more than damage based. So this weapon like hits with a lot of like those nanites. It charges you super fast.
Cool. Okay. So. And that would be, you say it's better when everyone in the team has it on all at the same time?
Yes, because the damage like stacks over time the more you shoot, and you also I don't think you can get max damage with like only one person using it.
Okay, gotcha. So you just end up with dozens and dozens of nanite swarms everywhere, just killing everything. Mm-hmm. Okay, sick. So that will be a good. If I don't
just keep one loadout with it, like in case you're out of heavy.
Is there a way in the game to just like switch between loadouts? Like, can I like save a loadout here, or do I have to manually click it through each time?
No, like on the left of your screen, click that arrow.
Oh, bro.
Did they not teach you the loadout system?
I did not know that was there.
That's insane.
What? That was not there the last time I played Destiny. I mean, wow.
It definitely was not, but I would assume, I thought someone told you.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Okay, cool. Well, that's the first time I've clicked that, so thank you. That alone is going to probably save me like 12 hours of the dungeon. So,
yeah, no. Unfortunately, like I think it's cringe, but to play the game properly, you need to abuse the loadout system.
Right.
Like you need to be like swapping mid-combat, like a lot.
Oh, like in the middle of, not even between encounters, but during an encounter, you would like flip between different loadouts?
Like you 100% want to swap between your mechanic phase and your damage phase. Like you're never going to use the same loadout for damage and for
really
doing mechanics. But like there are some builds that like you legit open your inventory every 5 seconds to like change exotics. You're not going to do that because that's too complex.
Yeah.
You also don't need to do that on Warlock. But yes, there is some crazy stuff.
Dude, that is like, I had no idea. Like, this has completely opened a new world of the combat in this game that I was like, I didn't even know was possible. So yeah, that is a game changer. Wow. Oh, my mind is like, it's racing with possibility. Okay, so in terms of these, so we like Outbreak. Is there anything else? I've been leveling up my Izanagi to get the Catalyst. Do we like the Izanagi, or is it kind of meh?
Izanagi is a decent weapon. I think it's pretty much impossible that you're going to be using it in a dungeon, though. Like, it's not hard meta now. It's pretty hard to use, and yeah, it's probably not worth it. Like, it's a good weapon. It's just like not
for a dungeon.
Something I would suggest.
So what is
not even for a raid right now? It just got like during final shape. I don't remember. Like, kinetic weapons had the extra damage to bosses that got removed. So since then, it's like there are probably better and easier options for most rotations, I want to say, especially if you're like not super confident, because it's weird how you need to use Izanagi, right? You need to do the special reload, then animation cancel, swapping to your heavy, then dump your heavy, then go back to Izanagi. Like, it's not intuitive. And even if you do it perfectly, I'm pretty sure it's not even like best in slot right now. So
okay, what is dumping your heavy? What does that mean? As in just like shooting your heavy, or
just firing all your mag on your heavy? Like, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all good. I need to learn, so that's useful. That's useful. So, okay, so when you're saying like there's very low likelihood of us using it in a dungeon or raid or whatever it might be, like that kind of end game activity, day one contest mode, is the decision making there because you're basically just saying, well, there's just ultimately going to be other stuff that has higher DPS, or is it specifically like the mechanic of having to do all the things you just said, doing the special reload, canceling it, dumping your heavy, like that's just like too much, it's too fiddly for contest? Is it because of that, or is it maybe a bit of both? No,
like Izanagi was good in many contests. It's more of like there are like 140 snipers are extremely good right now. The 140 RPM snipers, and they're just easier to use. And Izanagi is just a very... first of all, I think the total damage is very low, and total damage is super important in day ones, because if you run out of ammo during damage, it's pretty bad. Right. So you want to usually use weapons that have a lot of ammo and reserves. Izanagi does not have that. It's more of a burst damage weapon. So it could have a use if there is an encounter with like a 5 seconds damage phase, but at that point, you're probably using something that's even more burst.
Right.
And also, it's a weapon that really splits your damage between your special and your heavy. Like, you're hard committing to also doing special weapon damage. While right now, heavies are so like overtuned that you want to mostly just use your entire heavy reserves, and only if the damage phase is still going, you want to use a special for the most part. Okay. Well, there have been some metas where heavies were like less strong, and so like using a special a lot was like good. Yeah. It's a good weapon to have. I think there is a very low chance you end up using it. Okay, cool. That's really useful to know. So Outbreak is like on this first page. Yeah. On this first page, like the two weapons you should have are Outbreak and Witherhoard. I don't know if you can get Witherhoard. Let's check. Is that's what we'll do without, but that's like one of the best weapons in the game for. Let's just see if that is something I can get from. Is it this? I think this has like old stuff I can buy, right? Or is it not any of these? Because there's stuff here. Do you know which? From Season of the Arrivals, I think. I don't know. Year 3 to year 3. Ooh, sorry, whereabouts? The third one. This one. Yeah, should be. That. Oh, yeah, nice. I can get it. Yeah, you should definitely get that. I don't know. You get the catalyst. What even is the catalyst? Is it auto-loading? You probably want the catalyst too. Okay. Chat, do we know how I can get the catalyst on this? Is that going to be? Is it just most catalysts? You just have to wait for them to be in like Xur rotation, or is it how do catalysts usually work? Oh, chat says I think it's a really annoying quest. Like the gun isn't mandatory. Like I just think it's one of the best ones. But okay, well I know I can get it, so I'll kind of I can keep that in the back of my mind, and then maybe we can just try and sort of speed run the catalyst on that or something at some point. Chat just says it's a lot of activities. It drops from activities, or you could just farm custom games. It's cringe, it's boring, but you could just like legit you just do custom games if that works. Right. Just to sort of shortcut it almost. The gun is good because you fire like a ball that sticks to an enemy, and then it damages them for like, I don't know, 8 seconds over time. And so it basically passively procs all those perks that tell you to like hit enemies with your other 2 weapons. Oh, so you leave the ball there, and then you just swap over to your heavy, you dump your heavy, you flip back to that, fire another ball, and that's kind of
flow. Yeah.
It's also like only one person can damage with it at once. Like you can't apply the same DOT twice on a boss usually. But
Okay.
still. Also, like, who are you doing the dungeon with? I feel like that's a pretty important question because, like, how much do the people you're gonna play with know?
Yeah, that is it's something that I'm still figuring out. I've made this plan so last minute that I don't know necessarily who it's gonna be yet.
No, I asked because, like, obviously if you go in with someone that's like an expert, they would know how Witherhoard works, right? But if you go in with people that are also newish, then
Yeah.
it's important to specify.
I definitely don't think they'll be newish. I think they'll probably know what they're doing. And I guess that's actually a good point because if only one ball is needed, like if only one ball can do damage at a time, or stack whatever buffs are being applied at a time, they're more likely to already have the catalyst done. So maybe I just shouldn't bother because I can just sort of leave it to them and then I can just have other stuff going in my
that's
loadout.
fair.
But good to know that's something that I should sort of target ASAP.
In general, that's just a weapon you should get. Like if you plan to play Destiny a bit more, like it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
So ER, I don't know what the unknown ones are. Let me open my collections because
I don't know what the deal is with this. Requires level -1? What is going on there?
Oh, I have way more weapons than New Year. I don't know why.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Unknown ones are from exotic quests. Okay.
Oh, raid exotics like don't show there. Okay, that's fair.
Oh. So once I get stuff in raids, then they'll pop up as the third page, I guess. Interesting.
Let me show you. I don't know if I should show you my collections.
Yeah, no, that works. We could do that.
Okay, there you go.
Yep, I can see. Cool.
I mean, even in my collections, you only care about, Outbreak.
Yep.
Lumina is a good weapon, but don't worry about it. Like
Okay.
it's good because it can buff people. Like most damage buffs are at max 25%. Lumina goes up to 35. You got to like shoot your teammates with it. It's a good weapon, but it's usually not something you use in contest because it requires some setup and pretty complex, I want to say.
And when you say stuff is usually 25%, where does it say that? Like, where can I see?
It doesn't. So like,
okay.
I go over damage buffs and debuffs too. No worries.
Okay.
So second page here, I think it should I think Forerunner is extremely good.
Okay.
I plan to have it ready, but I don't know where it stands in DPS compared to 140 snipers, but it's extremely easy to use, and it's just extremely strong against precision bosses. I don't know if you can get this. The catalyst is useless, so you don't care.
I'm going to take notes as we go along here.
Then everything else here is useless, I think.
Okay.
I mean, this GL is like... It prints ammo, but I'm pretty sure it's getting disabled because it's bugged. You can shoot immune bosses, and it still prints ammo, so I don't know if it's even going to be available.
Okay.
Not sure.
That is one
weapon. It was from last season.
Yeah, that's one I think I have already got that, so that's good that I have access if it's still enabled. But yeah, probably get disabled.
For energy weapons, Sunshot is the best primary in the game by like 10 times over.
Wait, really? It's that I was using that the whole campaign. I love that gun. So it's good that
close. It's so broken.
Okay.
It's not like as good in super high level content like if you're doing a Grandmaster, because when things have too much health and you need to stay far away, you can't really chain explosions, and it's an end cannon, so you can't shoot from too far away. But in most other content, it's crazy, and in contest dungeons, it usually is crazy.
Sick. Okay.
Graviton Lance is pretty... It's not as strong as Sunshot in my opinion, but it's similar, and it might even be better this season because it's full of void artifact mods.
Okay.
You should have those two weapons though because they're very old. I'm not sure. So those are two primaries to keep in mind. Divinity is good, but you can't really use it on dungeon because it's a support weapon, and while the effect is very good, you can't just have one person not do damage for the other two to do damage, so probably not. It makes a big bubble that lets you like guarantee crits. Cloudstrike is a very good sniper. I don't know if it's gonna have a use in this dungeon, but I think it's one of the best special weapons in the game.
Yeah, I bought that yesterday from
perfect.
So we've got that.
I think you do want the catalyst for this.
Okay.
Yes, it's triple tap. You definitely need the catalyst.
Okay.
Okay, here it's interesting because you have still Ant, but the gun is unusable if you're not playing Hunter, so don't worry about it.
Oh, really? That's just a Hunter specific thing?
Because if you run like the Nighthawk helmet, it turns your triple shot into one shot, so the DPS is like insanely higher.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, yeah, I won't worry about that.
Red Death is pretty good, but probably don't need to worry about it. Buried Bloodline is pretty good, but this weapon gives you Devour if you kill 4 enemies or 1 yellow bar. Devour is the thing that It's
That's the one passive or whatever you'd call it. I don't know what the name is, like buff or whatever, that I do know because I was using that again like all campaign. That's the only one I'm familiar with.
Yeah, so like this is a good weapon because you can like, again, with the Loadout system, you could just like put it on, kill 4 enemies, get Devour going, even if you're not playing a Void subclass, and then you just keep it, right?
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't worry about getting it though, because you're playing Warlock and you can heal in other ways. Probably fine.
Okay.
So the best weapon here is definitely Pyro 1, I think.
Okay.
It's probably the most versatile weapon in the game right now. I don't know if you can get it in a reasonable amount of time.
I think we're planning to get that tonight because I think it's an exotic quest that the stack of stuff is after we do this excision, like a bit later this evening, we're going to do the quest to get it. Do I need to get the catalyst for it or is it fine base?
Oh, I think you want the catalyst. It's usable anyways, but it's a craftable weapon. So like the catalyst is something you choose. You can get the stabilizing rounds, which I think it's best in slot now. It's nice to have.
Oh, so I don't need to like do a quest to get the catalyst? Like it's like a separate...
You need to run the mission a couple of times, I think. I don't know exactly how it works now, but you also need to have the crafting like table unlocked. People in your chat are saying you don't. It's called the Enclave.
Yeah, that I don't
shouldn't take long to unlock. I think you need to do the first mission of Witchwind.
Okay, we'll figure out the way to get that. So I will need the catalyst there.
Yeah, like you are playing... As far as I understand, you're playing Warlock, so you are playing Solar with Speaker Sight because I think everything else is like borderline unusable in contest mode.
Okay.
So this is like one of the best weapons you can use because like as strong as Warlock is with Speaker Sight, you don't do anything. Like you're purely support.
Yeah.
You don't do any damage. You don't have damaging abilities. So having a weapon like Choir that is both very good at adclear and that like burst damage is nice.
Okay.
Because it's basically like a special auto rifle that does like way more damage than a regular auto rifle. But if you shoot in hip fire, it fires like a shotgun and like it does a fuck ton of damage. Like,
oh, sick. Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So you can like quickly kill a champion and stuff like that. It's very good.
Okay.
The only downside is that the ammo economy is pretty bad. But if it's your only special weapon, it should be fine.
Okay.
Now on your heavies, usually like your heavy is going to be a legendary weapon in a boss encounter because rarely there is an exotic that's like good for DPS. I want to say. Now, when you talk about heavy, you have to talk about what's meta, obviously, because that varies a lot. Right now, they just nerfed GLs by 10%.
Yeah, I saw that last night.
And they buffed linears by 10. On top of that, they like the mod in the artifact particle deconstruction is a 27% buff to linears. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a linear meta. And there isn't really any linear that you can use here outside of Queenbreaker that just got buffed. But so like this is good, but I think the total damage is terrible. So like I'm not sure if it would actually be good.
Right. It's like even with the buff, it's at base, it's just not enough DPS for the buff to matter.
The DPS is probably higher than everything else. You just like your bullets just don't do a lot of damage. It depends how long the damage phase is, right? People are mentioning Sleeper in chat. Sleeper Simulant, you might have this. It's decent, but I don't think it's good.
I think I have Sleeper.
I don't think the total is good. I don't think the DPS is great either. I don't know.
Okay.
It's nice because if you body shot, it's not terrible, but you also don't want to be body shotting with a linear.
Do not have it, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably going to need to use a legendary heavy anyways.
Yeah.
Being real. Anyways, talking about heavies, like, I think one of the best heavies in the game is Tractor Cannon.
Okay, I do have Tractor.
You shoot an enemy. Yeah, but I was going to say, you shoot an enemy and it's 30% debuff, right? So they take 30% more damage. Now, the thing is, this weapon is, like, unusable in this dungeon because, first of all, in a team of 3, it's usually harder to justify using Tractor unless you have a build that does a fuck ton of damage with abilities because you don't have an heavy weapon, right?
Right.
So in a team of 6, it's usually worth. In a team of 3, it's like sketchy.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyways, the issue is particle deconstruction, which is the mod, the artifact mod that gives you more damage on linears. I don't know if it's bugged or not. Anyways, it's coded very poorly, and it only works if your debuff is 15%. So if you have a 30% debuff, the mod just deactivates. So you actually just cannot use this weapon because you would just lose particle deconstruction. You would actually just lose damage. Yeah, you need to try to get that, by the way. Like, I think you need to get Season Pass level 41 to have every mod. But if you're going to play, you're going to be fine.
Okay, and that is, where is that? Is that in the...
In the artifact? I'll show you.
Okay.
Like, it's this one, top right.
Top right, okay. Particle reconstruction.
I haven't really sorted my artifact yet, but I think this is the best set of mod we've ever got, like, in Destiny, period. Okay. So, like, you definitely want to have, like, as many mods unlocked as you can.
But that selection that you've got right now is not, like, final? You just got sort of like random stuff.
It's not final. I'll have to change a couple things. I mean, I didn't put some bad ones, but
okay.
I think the best mod is, I don't know how much it is. It's this one. Improves the effect of Exhaust and Sever. Basically, enemies do less damage. I don't know how much is the percentage, but it's usually stuff like this is broken. I do have to like look into it more though. Then on your heavies, again, Whisper of the Worm is a good weapon, but if the linears are so good with the particle, you're not gonna use a sniper.
Okay. Yeah.
And Anarchy got nerfed because they nerfed GLs, so probably no use. Xenophage is one of the best weapons in the game. It's more of an adclear weapon, though you don't really use it for anything else. Like if there is a non-boss encounter, this is good. It's a machine gun that it's 8-scan and fires explosions. Like it doesn't fire bullets. It's weird, but it's extremely good for adclear.
Okay. So if there's a lot of thrall coming at me or something, then pull one of those out.
It's probably overkill for that. Like,
okay.
You can just, it does a lot of damage.
Okay.
Infinite Page, I mean, Galorn is a good weapon. It basically makes other rockets better, but that's another one of those weapons that you can't use in a team of 3 because you're sacrificing one's damage for...
Yeah.
Parasite, okay, so if there is a damage phase that's like 3 seconds, like this is the best weapon in the game because it fires one bullet that does like absurd damage. You need to get like kills before. If you get like 20 kills at max, you have max stacks, and then you can fire this worm. I don't know if you can get Parasite, probably not because it's from Witch Queen, and I think the quest is long. This is very like niche.
Okay, that's literally if it's like a 3-second phase only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if it's a like a quick damage phase, then like nothing beats it. Like it's not even close.
Okay.
I don't know, considering that linears are good right now, but Grand Overture, I think it's very good. Like people actually use this last dungeon. Sounds like a troll weapon. Okay. But it's pretty easy to use. And it does a lot of damage, has a good total.
I can buy that from the thing as well, so I have access to that if I
don't know if you need the catalyst though.
Okay.
I don't know, you don't. Okay, I don't think so.
Okay.
So this might be, I don't know, you can ask your chat too. I don't know how it stands now in the DPS charts, but it's probably nice to have because it might be good if it's a very long damage phase.
Okay, so
it's a bit weird to use, but...
What would you constitute a long damage phase? Are we talking like 30 seconds? Would that be long?
Probably like 40-ish. 40, 45 plus. Okay. Usually they're like 30, I want to say. 25, 30.
Okay. And so yeah, if it's like a 45-second damage phase, I would just, is the reason the Overture would be good because it's just going to sustain for forever without needing to reload type situation?
No, you're going to reload, but you just have a lot of reserves and...
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to use. Like, it's a machine gun that fires some, like, weird projectiles. And after you hit, like, all your mag, I mean, ideally 20 bullets because it's 20 in the mag, you can hold the R to, like, reload, and you do a special reload. And it loads in like a volley of missiles, and then you fire that.
Nice.
That's how the weapon works. So the more it's the more it's connect, the more missiles you will fire when you load the volley.
Oh, okay. Basically. And that's why you need it to be a longer damage phase, because you need to get through all of the bullets, and then you need to load it, and then you need to fire the missiles, and you do that. Okay.
And you have like 3 mags or more, so like it takes a while.
Right.
But it's a weird weapon to use because it's the machine gun, but it doesn't fire instantly. You have to like hold like a fusion rifle. So I hate it, but it's good.
Okay, fair.
And then there is Microcosm that's good against subjugators, but it's disabled, so you don't have to worry.
Okay, cool.
And Dragon's Breath, I think, like was one of the best weapons in the game. Okay. I don't know how it is now. I know it was bugged last season. I think it's fixed now. I haven't retested it, but...
Okay.
Again, this is good in like pretty long damage phases. It basically fires a rocket that sticks to them and does damage over time.
Okay.
So like
could be good, but
the DPS is fairly low.
Yeah.
But since each rocket takes a bit to explode, for the long damage phases it's good. And you basically fire it and then damage with another weapon, a solar one. You only want one person using it, because you can't have multiple. Like, it makes targets ignite when they do that, like, solar explosion, right?
Oh, okay.
They don't really work well when you have multiple people doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there is a cooldown. But this is, like, it's hard for me to say if it's worth getting, but I think it's one of the best weapons in the game.
Okay.
When it comes to, like, exotic heavies. And you can only use this if you're playing solar. So, like, it makes sense for a warlock because you are playing solar. Because it gives scorch stacks over time, and on solar there is a fragment that makes you apply more scorch. So like the gun is just not worth using if you're not on solar.
Okay, perfect. And I'll be using speakers, so I'll be solo locking. So that works.
Yeah. Can you show me your exotic armor?
I can, yeah.
So Getaway is decent on Prismatic, but I think Prismatic is pretty troll.
Okay, so just I wouldn't even bother
Like,
with it.
okay, when I'm saying troll is because I see the game from like a very high level perspective, right? Like it's good in 99% of the content, but if you want to be like serious in a contest mode dungeon, you're probably not playing Prismatic.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I mean, that's what I'm here for. So that works for me. So would you say just default to speakers the entire time, or would you be swapping around?
I think so. I'll elaborate on this in a sec. Some bracers are decent, but probably sketchy to use. They got nerfed a bit. And probably not worth it. Like the thing is, you need to not play on Healing Nades if you're playing some bracers, and if you're not playing on Healing Nade, you shouldn't be playing Warlock.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Go to the next page.
Yep. Not a lot.
Okay.
Unlocked. It's literally 3 things out of like 20.
I mean, the only exotic that I would suggest to unlock here is Sanguine Alchemy.
Oops.
Sanguine it's Alchemy, like
where's that?
On the right, third row to the right.
Oh right. Yep. Okay.
So the way this works is when you place your well, and then you shoot a target, it marks the target.
Okay.
And the target takes 10% more damage from you. Which stacks with everything, and like not many things can stack with everything. And on top of that, it gives you like surges for for weapons matching your subclass. I don't know if you know surges work. They're like a stackable buff, a mod.
Okay.
I will go over surges in a second though.
Okay.
And so like if the damage phase is like so safe that the boss doesn't even shoot back and there are no enemies around you.
Yeah.
Then on your DPS loadout, there will be no reason to have Speaker Sight, and you would have Sanguine on your DPS loadout.
Oh,
like, that's pretty much the thing.
Okay, so use Sanguine if it's completely safe, but otherwise use Speakers.
Like last day one, we made Sanguine builds, and then we just didn't ever swap to it because the boss was frying us, and so we were like, stay on Speaker Sight.
Is there ever, like, between, when you're in scenarios between encounters and you're just doing like traversal stuff, if there's enemies that are just like random adds in between, are those usually easy to clear to the point that you don't need to like really min-max your build for the in-betweeny bits, or are they a big challenge in themselves?
No, you can usually just skip them probably, but...
Okay, cool.
I mean, you will still run on Speaker Sight. I don't know what else you would run in a transition.
Okay, so
like, Titans have an exotic... Yeah, Titans have an exotic to like improve your jump, for example, right? You can skip sections, but on Warlocks, I don't think you can.
Okay.
Karn Stins is good. When you do a finisher, you get restoration, but it's not even close to like Speaker Sight, I don't think.
Okay, yeah.
On your first page, there is another exotic that's good, like Cenotaph Mask. It's very boring to use.
Okay.
But when you shoot a mini boss with a trace rifle, it marks them, and if your team kills it, it makes an heavy brick for them. So it's one of the ways in the game to make heavy.
Okay.
But it might be worth having if you're like struggling to get heavy between phases and there are a lot of mini bosses. It depends on the encounter, really. The issue with this is that it's a bit risky to swap to it, because when you swap to it, you're going to be playing with a trace rifle, which does 0 damage because they're terrible. Right. So you're basically worthless, and you also lost Speaker Sight, so you don't have as much healing. So it's like, there are situations where you have to swap to it, but it's a risky move.
I guess, like, would I be totally crazy to suggest, like, let's say there's some kind of mini boss thing that the team's working on taking it down. When it gets to like a third of its health left, if I just switched loadout to this to mark it, get it marked, it dies, we get the brick, and then I just instantly swap back. So I'm only on this for like 5 to 10 seconds.
That's how you play it. That's how you play it. You just need to make sure you're safe. You can't just open your inventory in front of a mini boss, right? Like,
right. Yeah. There's no way to like hotkey to just swap a loadout like without opening the menu? Damn. Sure. Okay, rip. That's very sad.
So on your gloves, there are Aeon Soul. They're in the middle. Okay. So those, you can put like a mod in them. They're weird, like if you inspect them. There are like 3 mods you can put on. I don't know which one it is, but one of the 3 mods, that one. Yeah. One of the 3 mods makes heavy if you finish a mini boss or a champion, okay?
Okay. Yeah, we talked about this in stream yesterday. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this stacks with Cenotaph. Like, you can't be the one using Aeons if you're on Cenotaph, but like, you can make double bricks if you mark something with Cenotaph, and your teammate uses Aeons and does a finisher. You basically proc bot effects.
Okay, cool. So if we really, really need ammo, then this might be something to think about.
This is for your teammates, though, more. Like, the Warlock will almost never do this because the Warlock will just beyond Cenotaph, I think.
Okay, nice.
Then I think for exotic armor, that's it.
That's it.
There is a decent pair of boots, Lunafactions.
Yep.
You have them. Yeah, it's just like nice. It's double range on every weapon, reload speed on your well. So like, depending on how many loadouts you set up, you can place your well while you have Lunafactions on, so that the well has the Lunafaction effect the whole duration.
Oh, and then switch off and it stays.
And then you swap to Sanguine if you want to do Sanguine, because you still get the benefit from Sanguine if you swap to it. The opposite isn't true though. Like, you can't place a well with Sanguine and then swap off Sanguine. You need to be on it.
Okay.
So I mean, Lunafactions probably don't matter though, because they give reload speed as their main thing, and on a linear meta, you either don't reload, or if you do reload, it doesn't take long.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, it's a good weapon, but it's more for like dumping rockets or GLs usually.
Okay, so like another time that might end up being the play, but like for this, it's pretty unlikely just because of the current meta.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Sick.
I hope I'm not overloading with information. I'm trying to keep it simple while, like,
this is so. I'm like, I feel like I'm drinking from the fire hose of knowledge right now. Like, this is great. I'm having a great time.
Nice, I'm glad.
Yeah, this is really good. What is this? Weapon ornaments? I guess this is like
no, you don't. It's the cosmetics.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that's the overall exotic kind of stack. What would be the best thing for us to tackle next? How should we approach?
Back to my stream, I would say.
Yep.
Okay. So in general, I like to put all my mechanics loadout on the right and all my damage loadouts on the left.
Okay, that sounds like a smart way of doing it.
You can't, I don't know if you know, but if you change like an aspect or a fragment, you lose all your abilities, so you can't do that. So you need to make sure, like, if those two are my prismatic builds, they need to have the same fragments and aspects, like they need to be the same. You can change grenades, melee's class ability, because you only lose the specific nade melee class ability. You just need to make sure to not change super fragments or aspects.
Okay.
Like, for example, it's not unlikely to be like, on my DPS loadout, I'll have a void grenade to debuff the boss.
Okay.
Not on Titan probably, but you use the charge, but if you get it back, then you have it, right? Anyways, the main rule about mechanic loadout is that you need to have on a special finisher on your class item and powerful attraction.
Okay.
I will explain now why. Powerful attraction is just the best thing in the game probably. And whenever you use your class ability, you pick up orbs around you, AoE. You can even run 2 of them. They stack, they give you a bit more range. It's up to you. And the reason why that's super important is because there is this mod on your legs, recuperation, which heals you when you pick up an orb. And so whenever you're dying, you place your class ability and you heal, because there are going to be a lot of orbs around you if you have a decent build. Like, the game is legit unplayable if you don't run recuperation, powerful attraction. Like, like, you have to run those 2 things, I think.
Okay.
Then I like to run this mod here, Proximity Ward. This is a bit preference, but it makes you invincible while you do a finisher, like legit invincible. You have like an insane overshield. So like, if you're dying and there is an enemy finisherable, you can do a finisher and you're gonna heal during the finisher. Usually do it to like something, or it can save you from like some burst damage, or even sometimes champions are buggy and even when they're stunned, they can still like stomp. So if you do a finisher, even if they stomp you like while they're dying, you still get that overshield to take no damage, right? So it's a nice mod to have. On Warlock, it's probably less important because on Titan, I'm using a lot of melee builds.
Right. Okay, fair.
You could run double powerful attraction. Now, the reason you need to have special finisher on is because, first of all, it's nice if you do a finisher and you make special ammo, it's not bad. But the main thing is, if you don't have a single mod that uses armor charge, which is the main system to like make those yellow mods work, you're not gonna get stacks of it, right? So you need to use this mod just so you can collect stacks. Every time you pick up an orb, you get like 1 stack of armor charge. Armor charge will be on your left. It's usually the top buff unless there is a mechanic above it.
Okay.
And it's crucial to have armor charge and to not have any other mod that consumes it, because every time you swap to a damage loadout, your legs should look like this and have triple weapon surge that matches your heavy weapon usually.
Triple weapon surge that okay, got you.
Yeah, the way the surges work are they're a damage buff to this element. And I don't know the exact number. I think it's something like 13, 17, 23, and then 25. You're never gonna get the 25 for 4x, that's useless, but usually, so only some exotics can do that, but usually you have like 3x, so you get the 23% damage boost.
And
those are on a timer. So each stack of armor charge you have, actually, let me just go somewhere.
Sure.
You have 10 seconds of surge. So with 3 stacks, if you go into damage with 3 stacks, you will have 30 seconds. You need to make sure, though, to not do a finisher when you have max stacks right before a damage phase.
Okay.
Because you would consume those 3 stacks to make the special ammo break from special finisher. So like basically you're running special finisher to keep the stacks, and whenever DPS starts, you swap to Loadout with surges, and that starts the timer on them and starts consuming your armor charge. If that made sense.
I think so. So when you're on the mechanics build, you're using the powerful attraction, that stuff. Is that right? And then you're
you still have my stream pulled up, right?
Yes, yeah. So you're going to grab an orb. That gives you armor charge. Is this the mechanics build that you're on right now, not the damage build?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, as you see, I have 2 stacks now. So if I want, I didn't mean to kill this guy. I've never shot this weapon once. Why is it damage glitching them? It's like they're dying, but they're not. Whatever. Okay. I wanted to make this guy weak. Okay, so if I do a finisher on this guy, it's fine because I only have 2 stacks of armor charge, right?
Okay.
So you only need to pay attention if it's before damage and you have 3 stacks.
Okay.
Anyways, when I swap to my damage loadout, now I have 3 stacks of armor charge.
Yep.
And I pull out my heavy. I mean, even if I don't pull it out, you can see that there is a timer ticking, right? 16, 14. Okay. So now it says on the bottom, like, stasis weapon boost.
Yeah.
So, like, this weapon will have a surge. The reason why this is important is because very few things in the game stack, but usually you can have 1 damage buff, 1 debuff on the target, and a surge.
Okay.
So, like, you must have those 3 things if you want to do good damage.
And the surge is individual. So each, like, if other people have a surge, that will only affect their weapon, but my surge will only affect me. Is that right?
Yeah. Surges are a buff.
Okay.
That's only for you and only for the element of the weapon.
Okay, cool. And so why was the timer not started on the armor charge when you were on the mechanics one?
Certain mods consume make your stacks have like a timer. Like a surge is a mod that gives you X seconds of like extra damage for each armor charge you have.
Okay.
While special finisher, the way it works is if you manage to collect 3 armor charge, you can then do a finisher and get ammo. But the timer doesn't tick down because special finisher doesn't have any effect. Like surges aren't the only thing that like have a timer.
Okay.
For example, there are mods. I don't know if I can find some, but for example, this one.
Yeah.
You gain a bonus to resilience while you have any armor charge, right? And like all those mods are terrible because yes, they give you stats.
Yeah.
But if you add those on your mechanics loadout, they will make your surges like tick down.
Yeah.
Armor charge tick down while you don't want them to tick down because you want to store them for damage, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's really smart. I like that a lot. That's really cool.
Like you could technically run those mods in your damage loadout because like it doesn't tick down faster if you have multiple mods that use a timer.
Sure.
Like but it's usually not worth it. There are usually better things. And on your class item during damage, you should be running at usually double time dilation. This mod here. What this does is it just extends the timer on each armor charge. And that's why I told you it was 10 seconds earlier. But as you can see, like with double time dilation, if I pick up an orb, I have like 18 seconds of armor charge.
Yeah.
So it's basically like almost a minute if you have 3 stacks.
Yeah,
And that's more than fine for pretty much any damage phase.
Yeah, amazing. Okay.
Something to keep in mind is if you die, you lose armor charge, obviously. So if you die, it's not a bad idea as one of your first things to do to pick up an orb if you see one anywhere.
Okay.
Dying also despawns every orb on the ground, but maybe you die and then your like teammate uses a super or something and they make an orb.
Yeah.
Like if you can pick it up and remember, it's nice.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's the main thing. Like it's as boring as it is and as weird as it is, you need to remember this like have recuperation on your running loadout, then have special finisher, powerful attraction, and on the damage one, you go triple surge and you go double time dilation. And I like to have another powerful attraction.
Okay.
If I can, because even during damage, like, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because during damage, you don't have recuperation, right? So if you use your class ability during damage and you pick up an orb with it, you wouldn't like heal. But it's still nice because maybe you died, maybe you want to pick up an orb. Like you don't see an orb, you died, and you're like, okay, I got revived. I want to get my surges back. I'll use my class ability. Maybe there is an orb around me that I didn't see, right?
Right. Okay.
So like, because you don't really need triple. Like, I don't even know how much it extends. It's probably under 2 seconds. But
yeah, and ultimately, like, if you've got 40 plus seconds, 50 plus seconds, like, what are you going to need the extra 10 seconds for at the end of the day?
Like, you can go into damage even with 2 stacks. That's like 36 seconds. That's fine with double time dilation.
Okay.
Then, on your chess piece, in general, you want like resist mods.
Okay.
Like anything else is troll. Like, do not even look at the other mods.
Okay.
And I like to always run with 1 concussive dampener, which is like damage reduction to AoE. And the way those mods work is if you have 1, it's 15% reduction to that damage type. And I think if you have 2, it goes to 25. I might be wrong. I think the third one is worthless. So never have 3 of the same kind, and try to not have 2 of the same kind, ideally. It depends, though.
Okay.
So usually I run 1 concussive damper because there is a lot of AoE in the game. I mean, there might not be in a specific encounter, but usually there is.
Yeah.
And then you just run other mods that match the main damage elements that you see in the encounter, or those that are like frying you. If you keep dying to like an enemy with a solar shotgun, you can even decide to do this, right?
Okay. Makes sense.
This is like, and obviously then you saved it on the loadout, right? So like, if I'm like, I go into this encounter with this loadout and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of solar damage, I do this.
Yeah.
And then I save the loadout so that, like, as you can see here now.
I follow.
It changed to solar mods.
Yep.
The harmonic mods, like those ones.
Yep.
Those cost less because they match like the element of your super. Like I'm now running like an arc super.
Yeah.
So if I put on an harmonic mod, I'm just putting on an arc mod, but it's costing 1 instead.
Okay.
Basically, like so
if I'm putting on fire resist, I could put on harmonic instead. Is that right? Because I'll be running solar warlock, right?
Yeah. Like on when you play like solar, it's when you play a subclass that's like a regular one, it's very easy to manage those.
Yeah.
On prismatic, it's a bit sketchy because maybe you want like arc resist for whatever reason. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I really want to use like Twilight Archer, and then forget, and so you swap your resist. So you need to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so chest is just resist. That's simple.
There is also melee resist. Melee resist, it's not damage reduction to melees, it's damage reduction to enemies that are close to you.
Okay.
So like, even an enemy with a shotgun or so. They have to be pretty close. I can't really tell you the distance, but usually you don't run it, but it depends.
Okay.
Something to keep in mind, I suppose.
Yep.
Sniper resist is not resistance to snipers, it's resistance to enemies that are very far away. So again, this is hard to judge. It's probably like the distance from me and this enemy, like roughly, but they have to be pretty far, I think. I don't know.
Sure.
I almost never run that, honestly.
Like
I think usually you just run 1 concussive, even 2 concussive if you really have no idea what's in the encounter, and then like an element that you think it's gonna be there.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm not even going over all the other mods because for the most part they really are worthless, and like
it's gonna like to some extent there's also like I will probably only remember to change so much per encounter because like my knowledge of the game is just so much less than yours. So having the like rule of thumb of like 1 or 2 concussives, if I'm really getting fried by a specific elemental type, I can put that on. I can run harmonic if I really want to, if it's solar damage that's frying me. And in the very weird, unique, special circumstance where like all the enemies are really close to me, I know that I can do that. But other than that, like just running concussive is going to be fine. That sounds good.
The main thing to take away from this: don't run 3 of the same mod.
Yes. Yeah. That's perfect.
On your gloves, I actually don't know what you run on prismatic world. Sorry, on solar warlock. Like I'm not sure.
Okay. I will consult chat on that one. We'll see what chat thinks.
Because there is. Heavy-handed makes like an orb on melee kills, but I don't think you're getting a lot of melee kills. Like your melee isn't bad, but you only have 1 every like I don't know how many seconds.
Yeah, it's also it's a risk to be prioritizing melee stuff over just shooting things. I feel like there's just more likelihood of messing up and dying. Yeah,
I also don't think you will get final blows. Like I feel like your best bet will just be running those mods that like reduce your cooldowns.
Okay.
So like causing damage with a melee reduces your grenade cooldown, probably not terrible. Then grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a melee, that's not terrible either. Like you're not gonna cause damage with like a grenade, right? So you're never gonna run a mod that like does anything with grenades. So yeah, those are fine, I think. You could even run like you can run this one, for example. Like, so damage with melee reduces grenade cooldown, damage with melee reduces class ability cooldown, and then you run like a loader.
Right.
That's fine.
Okay.
Like if you have a weapon that takes a while to reload, I don't know. For example, if you're farming for a Choir of One and you actually get it,
Yeah.
you can run a void loader so the gun feels nicer to use, right?
Right,
I
okay.
think that's fine. It's just nice to cycle abilities, yeah, for sure. Let me reply to that bot in chat. In your chat, I think grenade kickstart can be decent, that bot, but that would mess with the surges. I don't know if it's... I said there is this mod that gives you grenade energy consuming your armor charge, but then if you mess up and throw a grenade at the wrong time, you might go into damage with no surges.
Right.
So it's like probably not worth messing with. No, it's for the running loadout, but it could still throw a grenade before damage, right? Anyways, on your helmet, you usually run one mod, like a siphon mod that makes orbs with multi-kills for with a certain weapon type. So like if you're running Choir of One, you would run the Void one. I usually run this one because I play with solar weapons mainly.
Okay.
Obviously, Warlock and Titan is very different. Like on Warlock, I actually don't know. Like I think it's not a bad idea to run with Heavy Ammo Finder and Heavy Ammo Scout. So what this does is Finders are like when you get kills, especially with primaries, like primaries give more points towards that.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, you will drop like an heavy brick for you. And what a Scout does is that heavy brick will drop for your team too.
Oh, nice. Okay.
If you run those two mods together,
They synergize well. Yeah.
yeah, it's nice. You make ammo for your team. Now, Finder bricks are like lighter color than regular bricks.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday in
and they
stream.
give
They're
less
like
ammo.
they're like half the ammo or whatever. Like
Yeah,
or some
the bricks are very weird. Like I think the bricks from the Aeon's globes are like also lighter,
Yes.
but there's something in between a
Okay.
regular brick and a Finder. A Cenotaph brick, I think, is similar to a Finder or even less. Like they're
Okay.
weird. They give less amount of ammo.
Okay.
Like a different amount of ammo. But I don't think this is bad. You don't need to run this though. Like you could, I don't know.
Okay.
Like it's not super crucial because there are probably other ways you make ammo, and I mean you can also just get lucky and get ammo, right? In the
Right.
game. But it's probably nice on Warlock. This was for the mechanic loadout.
Okay.
On the damage loadout, usually you care less about ability regen, you care less about making orbs, you care less about everything.
Yeah.
I already went over having surges, having time dilation, and then resist mods on the chest piece still.
Yep.
On the damage loadout, depending on the weapons you use, you can run loaders or you can run dexterity mods. Dexterity mods just make you swap faster.
Okay.
Like you're not going to use Izanagi, right? But if you are using Izanagi, then you're not going to play without a kinetic dexterity, for example, right? Because you want to pull out the weapon faster.
Right. Okay.
Usually. So this really depends, like, on what you're going to use. You can change this between encounters. It's not super important, but like it's nice.
Yep.
And on your helmet, so this is some weird stuff, but if you keep one Finder on in all your loadouts, you never reset like the kill count. So it's like, I don't know, if you need 30 kills to make a brick from Finder,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
if you never take it off even on your damage loadout, then that counter will not reset. You could do that, or you could run those two mods, Radiant Light and Powerful Attraction. They don't do anything particular, but they're just nice to keep up armor charge for you and your team.
Okay.
Like this one says, collecting an orb causes nearby allies to increase their current armor charge by 1. So maybe your teammate died.
Oh, sick. Yeah, and they get it back.
Like they don't have, so just you pick it up and you give it to them. And this one, casting your super causes nearby allies to increase their current armor charge by 1.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think this works if they have 0, but if they have 1, you bump them to 2.
Sure. Yeah.
Also, armor charge works weird in the sense that it's a timer, right? But if the timer is about to hit 0, so you have 1 stack, like 3 seconds left, and you get 1 extra stack, you go back to like the 18 seconds full timer, but you also go to 2 stacks. So it's basically like you don't only get an extra stack, but you also refresh your current timer. So
Yep.
often that's like double value.
Okay.
So yeah, I like to run those two in my damage loadout.
Sounds good.
I mean, realistically, on the damage loadout, you can take off the siphon because you're probably not killing enemies.
Yeah, you're
so you
just
don't care
dumping
about
into
making
boss.
orbs or killing enemies. So you can keep the Finder here just for that, like
Yeah.
not resetting the counter thing. Okay. So that was the main, like, I guess, loadout guide. I feel like it was a bit confusing and maybe a
No,
bit boring,
that was
but I
so
feel like it's
good, dude.
important.
That you explained that so well. I'm like really impressed. That was great. It all makes sense. I think like the thing, the challenge in the moment is just going to be having the flow. Basically, I'm going to need to do some practice today and tomorrow of correctly getting my armor charge stacks, flipping over to the other loadout, not accidentally consuming them at the wrong time. Like, I'll need to build that almost like the muscle memory of knowing how to go from like never having thought about that before to suddenly having that as part of the almost like resource management that I'm doing while I play. But other than that, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory in the sense that I'll set the loadouts up for the encounters, and then I just need to toggle between them as I go.
Yeah.
So that sounds good.
Other thing to notice is because it's easy to mess up. If you're like, oh, in this encounter, I really want to use like tractor cannon, or I don't know, right? And you save your loadout with tractor cannon. First of all, make sure you don't like mess up, because if you're on your damage loadout and you're like, oh, let me swap this weapon, and then you override your mechanical loadout, like it's cooked.
Yeah.
There's no undo button, so you'll have to redo everything manually.
Oh God.
Terrible.
Okay.
You need to make sure you change your weapons, and then like you click on the loadout, change your weapon to tractor if that's what you want, and then you save on bot loadouts. Because if you don't, then like if you save this loadout on tractor, right, but on your damage loadout you forgot and you still have the GL.
Yeah.
When you swap from tractor to the GL, you lose like all your heavy, right?
Right.
Like, oh, cool. And then you look at the boss. So like, you need to always make sure you're changing weapons on bot loadouts. But there is a trick you can do, which isn't always the best with isn't always the best with like special and primaries, because maybe you want to have different ones in a damage loadout. But it is nice on an heavy often. You can save your loadout with like a random heavy that you pull from collection. I'm sure you have some heavies that like you can pull from collections.
Yeah, definitely.
So I saved the loadout to this like a random awful sword.
Yeah.
And then I just dismantled this sword. And now there is like a question mark here, because the game is like, wait, what did you save on it? So now, whatever heavy I've equipped, it's gonna stay there when I change loadout. Like the game doesn't care anymore. Like right now I have the GL, I click on this loadout and I still have the GL.
Oh.
So it's basically a way to make loadouts that are not bound to weapons, but they only change your armor mods.
Okay.
It can be nice.
That's pretty smart. Okay, so basically the loadout is like a set of instructions to say like change all of these things, but by deconstructing the thing in that slot, it loses the command to like change that slot, and so you can just leave whatever you want there. Okay, so does that mean when I'm switching between normally when I'm not doing that, when I switch between the mechanics and the damage loadouts, are we saying we should, is it just that in the slot, like let's say it's that third slot, if I have heavy in one weapon and then I switch to another weapon that is heavy in that slot, will I still lose the ammo because the weapon's changing? Or
if you change heavy, you lose more than half your reserves usually.
Okay, so the weapon has to be the same.
Almost nothing. Yeah, no, it needs to be the exact same weapon, not even like the same weapon with a different like perk. It needs to be the exact same weapon.
Okay, but that's specifically for heavy, but special is fine.
Special is mostly fine. I think you lose like maybe 5%, 10%. It depends on some weird like values hidden magazine values that they have. But
okay.
Not something I know or I'm gonna get into.
Yeah. Okay. So special is mostly fine to swap between loadouts, but heavy should be same loadout on both.
Yeah, and it's also like you need to make sure you are matching slots in the sense of like if you really want to use Witherhoard for damage on your damage loadout, you can't have your mechanic loadout have like a primary weapon here, because if you have a primary weapon in your kinetic slot and then you swap to like a special, you have 0 ammo, right? So you need to have like,
it needs to go special to special.
Yeah, it needs to go special to special. You can go special to primary, because obviously primaries have infinite ammo, but you can't go primary to special. And it's very unlikely for you to be wanting to go special to primary.
Okay.
The only exception is maybe that's realistic is when I told you like if you're out of everything, just swap to Outbreak.
Right.
That puts from before.
And you would do that mid-encounter. You would like, it would almost be like a third. You would have your normal damage and your normal mechanic loadouts, but then if the whole team is like, oh my god, we're all out of ammo, but we're 3/4 of the way through the fight and it's looking good, everyone just switches to Outbreak and we just finish the fight from there, kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's like, again, I haven't set those up, but like the way it could look like is like mechanic loadout, damage loadout.
Yeah.
And those two both have this exotic that gives me more damage to like melees, right?
Yeah.
And then I would have the same damage loadout here, but with this other exotic that makes me do more damage with my super. So like the way it would work is like I do a bunch of damage, swap loadout, super, and then swap back again.
Right. Okay.
Like, it depends if I'm gonna need my melee damage or not, or I
Sure.
could just stay on this other loadout. Like, obviously the weapons aren't set up now, but that's the point. And then you could have like another loadout again. That's like, I don't know, with Outbreak.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would save it like here, for example, and
Yeah.
if I'm out of everything, I swap to this. But this loadout must have triple kinetic surge because Outbreak is a kinetic weapon. So that's something to keep in mind.
Okay. Amazing. Is that, as far as mods go, is that everything covered?
I think it mostly is.
Okay.
I need to go over like the damage buffs, though. I think.
Okay.
The main damage buff in the game is Radiant. This patch it's 20% instead of 25, but anyways, 20% damage buff stacks with surges. So like you always want Radiant and you want surges at the same time. Now, you can only get Radiant on Solar or Prismatic, usually, for the most part.
Okay.
Solar is better for it because one of the main ways to get Radiant is this fragment that hitting a target with your melee gives Radiant to you.
Okay.
And on Solar, it also to teammates around you.
Nice.
On Prismatic, it's only to you. And then there are fragments that on Solar that extend the duration of Radiant. So if you're on Solar, you have more Radiant uptime in general. The thing is, keeping it up in a damage phase is sketchy because like you might not have your melee, you might miss your melee because you have to hit a target with it.
Yep.
And losing Radiant is terrible. Like if you lose 20% damage during a damage phase, it's probably pretty bad, and you should worry more about that than about anything else. And that's why Warlock is like hard meta and always will be, because you just place your well and you can AFK for 30 seconds and you have Radiant. And
Right.
this patch, Well didn't get nerfed like Radiant, so Well is actually 25% and not 20, so it's even better. Also, the way it works, I don't know if you mess with it, but if you exit your Well, you still have Radiant for 7 seconds, I think. So you don't need to stay on it. I don't know, like chat can probably answer. I don't know if when you exit Well, you go to the 20% Radiant or it stays 25, like when you're inside. I have not tested it, but
Sure.
anyways.
Either way, it's still Radiant, sort of, so you're still getting a buff.
So like your main job during a damage phase is gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna place the Well in like the best spot where we can see the boss and we probably don't get fried.
Yeah.
And then we damage from there. And you might have to move around because they like nowadays to do mechanics where like they try to kill you and not make you stand still, but it's probably gonna be fine.
Okay.
You can exit the Well if there is an attack on it, and then you can re-enter it.
Right.
And so yeah, like keep surges up with the loadout system, and then you keep Radiant up, and that's gonna be mainly your job.
Okay.
Like when I play Prismatic Titan, for example, I have like 3 melee charges, right? When they're all charged. So like there is a scenario where I don't care about where my team is damaging from. I'm gonna go damage the boss with some weird melee build.
Yeah.
And every like 5 or 6 seconds, I just melee the boss, so I get like Radiant back for myself, right?
Okay.
That's, I don't know, like that's weird, right? For the most part, you want to keep it simple.
Yeah.
I want to say, if the game allows you to keep it simple and you can still clear the encounter, keep it simple.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. So Radiant is definitely something I'll prioritize, just like keeping in mind.
Yeah, definitely try to keep it up.
Yeah.
You will have your melee pretty often anyways, because with that fragment that you're going to use, I don't know if people went over your fragments. I don't even know what are best for speaker side Warlock because I don't play it, but like you for sure, I think, want Torches, which is the one that gives you Radiant on melee. It's, I don't know. Do people run Solace? Solace is more Radiant and Restoration duration. I think you do. I need Warlock's help here. I don't remember.
I have some like build crafty sessions planned with some folks who I think are going to go pretty deep on the fragment sort of side of things as well. So if there's any uncertainty there, I should be able to get it covered.
The game is pretty like, people have different opinions on these things, so like people might tell you different things. Like,
Sure.
I'm telling you, like, okay. Anyways, Benevolence is it's the main one. It's whenever you apply any effect to your team, Cure, Restoration, or Radiant, you get like insane ability regen, and that's why you have Infinite Grenades. So like you do run Benevolence.
Yeah.
Like there is a good chance Well isn't good in some mechanic encounters, especially if you have to move a lot because it's obviously stationary. And you, in that case, you just run Song of Flame. Now, Song of Flame makes you invincible, like realistically, because it's 90% damage resistance. It's insane. And you have used it, right? I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this definitely gives you Radiant. like the whole time while you have the super active. I don't know if it gives it to your teammates. I don't think so. It doesn't, but Radiant Melee still works. Okay, so since you have infinite melee charges during Song of Flame, like if you spam your melee and you have the fragment that gives Radiant on melee hits, then you
so
will
it's
be
like
giving
an indirect path to
that
get
around you.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
So yeah, this is gonna be good for ad clear encounters. You're not gonna charge your super very fast, unless you have lost signal. This charges your super so fast, it's so broken. People are saying you're gonna get it when you go for Choir. That's fair, but you would need to get it craftable to get the auto-loading Vorpal. I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, I don't have it unlocked in my collections right now, so I have to just keep an eye out. So what was the scenario where that would be good?
I mean, I'm probably running it the whole dungeon.
Wait, you're going to use it the whole time? Is that good?
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
It's like, it's basically like a flamethrower, I guess is the best way I can explain it.
Okay.
And since it does multiple instances of damage, like it doesn't do a lot of single target damage because you can't stack the flames on the same target.
Yeah.
But if you throw it at like 20 adds, you hit all 20 like at once and you get like insane super regen.
Right. Okay.
If you manage to get this weapon, it would be nice if you got the perk auto loading on the first column, so you don't have to worry about reloading. If you don't, it's fine. But
was there any other? You said it needs to be craftable to get. Is it craftable to get auto loading or something else?
You can drop auto loading randomly, but if it's craftable, you can just select the perks basically.
Oh, I see. Okay, got you.
Like you just spam this and does fire everywhere. It's pretty busted.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Like, the harder the content is, the more health things have. So they take a while to die, and they stay in the fire for a while.
Yeah.
And so like it charges your super very fast. Or on Prismatic, it charges your Transcendence in like 2 seconds. It's crazy.
Okay.
Wait, chat. Are the PT rolls for the perk awakening thing still like solved? Yes. Okay. So I think your primary could be the multi-mac with that SMG with kinetic tremors. I think that's very good.
Is that
you have it?
The multi-mac, was that one of the free ones from
one
Banshee
of the
other day?
From yeah.
Okay.
Because it's decent damage. It makes a lot of orbs, and it's just a nice weapon to like pair with everything else.
Okay.
I think. So you could use Choir of 1 if you get it, and multi-mac. And then your heavy would be very encounter dependent. You could use like a linear on a boss encounter, or even a machine gun on a non-boss encounter. That's probably fine.
What would your recommendations be for those if I?
Yeah, I need to think about it because I don't know which ones are acquirable. Anyways,
okay.
Do you have a sword with eager edge, like the one to skate?
I do not.
That's nice during transitions.
Okay.
And it's nice if there is an encounter that's very movement based, which
How do
there
I get
could
one
be.
of
There
those?
was in the other dungeon. I don't know.
Okay.
My
chat has
you can play
mentioned that a
Darts
few
of
times.
Eternity.
Okay.
But I think that's terrible, and the drop rate is probably bad. So I don't think you should waste your time for it.
Okay.
Like realistically, it's not like you're going for a Nike placement in the dungeon, right? So
no.
If you waste 15 minutes because you're slow in like a transition between encounters, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess it's the scenario where by being able to be faster, we can sort of like shortcut through somewhere and then therefore like not have to fight an enemy in a certain area or something, which like I guess it could be nice for, but also who knows, maybe that just won't happen.
No, I mean it's like I'm flying into the dungeon with it because it's usually troll to do so because you don't have an heavy weapon.
Yeah.
But since I use a build that's mainly melees, like I just like to move like this and go around, and I'm like, I'm one-shotting this with a melee, then I'm like, oh, I need to go over there, I'm going over there.
Oh my god. Wow, yeah. Is that
have you seen people like well skate?
I've heard about it, but I've not like
I'll show you.
Looked into it in much depth.
Anyways, it's nice to have. It's probably not something you should prioritize, I want to say. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. And the way to do all this is specifically it needs to have eager edge. That's like the key.
Yeah, it's like a perk. It's the way it works is you swing your sword and then you swap to a different weapon. Because if you don't, like the game stops you in place because it doesn't want you to like do that. People are making fun of me. Are they saying I'm gonna fail the well skate? I won't fail the well skate.
Pressure's on now.
But okay, anyways, when it comes to linears, because as I said, it's gonna be a linear meta most likely. I actually don't know what to suggest you because like I don't know what's easy to get right now.
Okay.
Like you could farm the Master Nightfall because it's dropping like the best linear in the game.
Which is what?
But I think it's called Scintillation.
Okay.
But it's like the chances of getting a good roll aren't very high. Again, it takes a while through the Master Nightfall because everyone is under leveled.
Right.
I don't know. You're kind of short on time, so
Yeah.
I would have to see your vault. Maybe you have a decent linear.
Yeah, we could take a look.
The main thing you want on a damage weapon is bait and switch. Is like a damage perk.
Okay, I have seen a few of the things do have bait and switch, but I don't know if they're good guns overall. But I recognize the perk.
Pretty much every weapon in the game that's good has bait and switch as a damage perk because it's just broken. And then on the left column, something to like either reload faster or not reload at all.
Okay. That's
like the rule of thumb, I guess.
You want to show me some skating?
Yeah, I need to wait for the ammo.
Okay. So it uses ammo to do it?
It doesn't if you don't mess it up.
So we'll see whether or not it uses it for you.
No, I'm pretty confident.
Okay. It's time, Guardian! Holy Jesus Christ. Wait, what are you even pressing to do that? What the hell, dude? That is insane. What? What did I just see?
You right click with your sword when you're on a ledge, and then you press jump, and then you press super. People think you have to do it quick. You don't. You just need to do the sequence correctly, because if you do it in any other sequence, it messes it up.
And you have to be on a ledge?
Yeah, you have to be. The closer you are, I think the easy... No, I mean, if the closer you are, the faster you have to do the inputs, but the easier it is. Because if you, like, press super when you're still on the ledge, then it messes it up too.
Okay.
Usually you want to be, like, this distance from a ledge.
Okay. And so what was the button combination? I'm definitely going to be trying this later today.
Right click, spacebar, and super.
Okay. Have you, like, in any of your world firsts, have you been, like, using that trick to just, like, skip
mess it up,
traversals and stuff? Or is that...
I'm not a warlock. I play Titan all the time.
Oh, okay.
But my warlocks did.
Okay. They were just flinging themselves in there.
Every time.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So,
okay. Lucky. So it's maybe in high pressure situations, maybe it's not something that's you don't want to rely on it necessarily every time.
It depends how comfortable you are on it. Like it's not that deep.
Okay, well that sounds like fighting talk for your warlocks. I guess, are they going to be doing it for this dungeon? Presumably, right?
I mean, like if you like finish an encounter, you have your well charged. Usually when you finish an encounter, you swap to a sword because you want to go fast. Yeah. You're like, oh shit, it looks like I need to go there, then like you might as well.
Right. That is so insane how much of a boost that gives you.
There are even like way faster techs. Like there is a weird grapple skate you can do.
Oh wow. You just like completely hit the edge of the skybox. Okay, so let's take a look at my vault. So would it be easier for me to just pull up dim, or shall I actually just use the vault?
The vault is fine. It doesn't matter. I was gonna say though, I didn't say that, but when I was going over what to damage a boss with, you wanted the radiant surges.
Yeah.
And you also wanted debuff.
Okay.
As I said, you don't want like Tether or Tractor because they mess with this particle deconstruction mod this season.
Yeah.
So you don't want the 30% debuff that those give, but you do want a 15% debuff. And now, usually that's tied to Void. Like on Void, also on Prismatic, there is a fragment that makes enemies weaken. It's called the Weaken.
Okay.
For like X amount of seconds, I think it's 10. Mm-hmm. There are a bunch of other ways to weaken, like Hunter can weaken with like the Smoke Bomb, or there are some Void weapons that have a perk that after you aim down sight for a bit, your next shot weakens.
Okay.
And keeping weaken up is like pretty important. It's weird because in many seasons, it happens like automatically, right? Like last season, there was a mod that hitting a boss with a GL will just weaken it. So the bosses were like permanently weakened, right? Huh. There is no such thing this season. So like teams are gonna need to have a strat for it. You can't just go in there and hope it gets weakened because it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's probably not your job. Like,
yeah, I was going to say.
Warlock, you can't weaken in any way.
Yeah.
So unless you have a weapon that can weaken, but it's pretty sketchy to use, and I wouldn't worry about it. You should probably know, like, you should keep in mind that if the boss isn't like glowing purple, and if you're not hitting yellow numbers, then something is wrong, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So that will make it look like I'm critting, even if I'm not
Even to the body.
critting, because of okay.
Yeah, the game is weird.
Okay.
I mean, okay, no, the boss will always look like it's weakened though, because the mod particle reconstruction is also a debuff. So I'm pretty sure the boss will be, so to say, weakened from that. But the actual 15% weaken is a different one.
Yeah.
It might even have the same visual effect. Either way, you should keep in mind that you or your other teammates should try to apply it.
Okay.
If you have someone like, you're probably going to be the only warlock, I would assume. Like, I don't know what comp you plan to go in, but like, ideally you don't have more than one warlock, I don't think.
Right.
And like, hunters can easily have the smoke bomb on prismatic to weaken, or they can run a void grenade to weaken.
Okay.
Like, it's, you know.
I will note that down.
Since, I don't know all the durations, like they vary from like 6 to 8 to 10 seconds, but if a damage phase is 30 seconds, you can't just be like, oh yeah, I have a grenade and that's it, right? So you need to have a plan, like have a bunch of things to weaken usually.
Okay, sounds
And if
good.
you don't weaken, it's not like it's the end of the world, but again, losing 15% damage can be the difference between hitting killable damage or not.
Okay.
Because, I don't know if you've seen how contest mod works, but you have limited amount of phases. It's like raids. So if in 3 phases you don't kill it, you wipe.
Yep. Yeah, so the 15% is a pretty big difference maker, really.
Like right now, I plan to use an heavy that says that when I aim down sight for like 3 seconds, then my next shot weakens. It's gonna be sketchy as hell to use because I have to not shoot purposely. Like that's
you have to not shoot. You have to aim down sight but not shoot.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, good luck. Damn.
I don't know though. I still have to like think about it. Anyways, let's see this vault.
Oh, I think you mentioned Vorpal before, right? Vorpal's stuff, is that?
Vorpal is more damage to bosses.
Ah.
It's 20% on primaries, 15 on specials, and 10 on heavies. So on heavies, the perk is terrible.
Okay. On primaries, it's okay.
On specials, it's decent. On primaries, it's also pretty terrible because you're not damaging a boss with a primary.
Oh, fair enough.
Much.
Yeah, okay. And you're probably also not damaging a boss with a scout rifle.
Weapons have weird multipliers in this game. Like, they don't do the same damage to every weapon type. I hate it, but like, some weapons do way more to like yellow bars than to red bars, or like it's weird, right? You just need to kind of know that. Anyways, on a scout, you want to have explosive payload, or you're going to run hand cannon. I don't think I saw any yet.
No, I don't think I had any of that.
So, the issue that primaries have in this game is that they only really do damage to red bars. Hand cannons are the only weapon that have like an insane custom modifiers to yellow bars, which is like 75%.
Okay.
Extra damage, not to bosses, just to like regular yellow bars. So I don't play the game without hand cannons. Like I don't equip other weapons personally.
Yeah. Is that why you like the Sunshot so much?
Yeah, like pulse rifles and scouts are usable, I guess, but it depends. Like they're still gonna be terrible against many non-red bars. An exception is that multi-mac you have. Okay, this is like oh no, never mind. 150 scouts are terrible.
Wait, what is the one?
I was gonna say that.
What is the one? Oh, rounds per minute.
The RP, yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you saw explosive payload is good, but then the RPM is bad.
Like it feels awful to shoot.
Right. Okay.
I was gonna say that multi-mac you showed before is a bit of an exception because it has like kinetic tremors, which is good for like sustained damage and makes orbs with attrition orbs. Otherwise, you wouldn't use an SMG.
So there's a multi-mac.
This is good, yeah. I would masterwork that for sure.
Okay.
That auto, the first of the blue ones, is not the worst because it has kinetic tremors too.
Wait, this one? Well,
No. The one blue and orange before multi-mac.
Oh, okay. This one.
I don't think that's the worst thing in the game, but the multi-mac is probably just better. I also don't know if 450 RPM autos are usable.
Okay, but this one you think is definitely
this one is good. Yeah, like 100% like masterwork that then.
Okay, that's good. That's half decent.
Okay, unlucky. This could have been good.
Oh, I think I have more actually. I think there's more here.
You know, shoot to loot is like a crazy perk, like the one you have on
this one. Yeah.
There. Yeah. So it's like when you shoot an ammo brick or an orb, it picks it up.
Oh, sick.
And in many of the damage loadouts, I play with a shoot to loot and cannon, not because I use it to damage the boss, but because if I'm out of heavy mid damage, I can like turn around, I see a brick, I shoot a brick, and I keep using my heavy, right?
Yeah,
going there.
That is sick.
You don't want to use a shoot to loot weapon if it doesn't also have explosive payload, because without the splash damage, hitting the brick is super sketchy. Right?
You have to like lean into your monitor to do it.
That's a blinding GL. So when you see disorienting grenades, and you like shoot. First of all, I don't know if you know GLs work, but you can either like click the left click, or you can hold it, and then if you let go, it detonates whenever you let go.
Yeah.
And I think this is only for the special GLs, but anyways. This is like one of the most broken perks in the game, because you shoot that, and like if they are in the radius of it, the enemies like don't fight back for I think 6 seconds. Like they actually just don't do anything.
Wow. Okay. So this
like,
is very,
I have
very
abused
good.
this like in so many day one raids.
Okay.
Not this role specifically, but
sure.
Yeah, it doesn't blind like mini bosses or bosses, or champions, but it blinds everything else.
Okay. So that's
the roll is bad. Like you don't have a reload perk, so you will have to reload it manually.
Okay. So
but
it's like
blinding is good. If you see things with blinding, keep them usually.
Okay.
This lock this.
Okay.
It's not a good roll, but it's another one of those like flamethrower grenade launchers.
Okay.
And Repulsor Blaze doesn't really do anything unless your team void debuffs them, because you're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And Armour is like a weird perk. When you get kills with other weapons, you get a damage buff on this one. So the perks are both bad.
Okay.
But the weapon itself is decent. So like there could be situations where.
What is it about it that makes it? Is it just the VS Velocity Baton as a weapon is decent, or is it a specific perk that it's like one of these things?
There is a
decent?
perk that's like completely broken. Like Attrition Orbs, which is the one that makes orbs when you do damage. If you put it on this and you hit like 8 enemies, you make like 8 orbs or like 16 orbs. It's like it's kind of game breaking, honestly, but that's the roll you want.
Okay.
Either way, the gun is good in general, so I would lock it.
So I'll look out for the baton with orbs, and then that would be crazy.
Yeah. Also because, so as I said, it throws like 5 flames. Only one does damage at a time on a target, though, right? But it's bugged, and like if there is a vehicle, so like a spider tank or a tank from like the Cabal, all of them do damage to all part of the bodies. So like if you shoot them with it, it does like an ungodly amount of damage.
Sick.
There's probably not gonna be one in the dungeon, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been so good if it had bait and switch.
Oh, this is the scintillation you were talking about before.
Yeah.
Okay.
This roll is terrible, but
no, that's a shame. Okay, so scintillation, bait and switch, best linear in the game. Yeah, would you say?
One of the best ones. Like it depends a bit.
Okay.
You need to put on the trait, like if you use it, you need to put on the trait Vist Stinger, which can randomly reload the weapon. Like it's on it. Like it's the third one, the one that looks like fangs. It can randomly reload your weapon when you hit a target, so it's just nice.
Sick. Okay.
On the left column, you want a reload perk. The best one is Rewind Rounds, which is again another reload perk, but good luck getting that. I was literally farming for it yesterday for like 3 hours because I forgot to farm for it way too much. I think your goal is to get a linear with bait and switch. You should ask your chat what's like the best way to get one.
Yeah.
I don't think there is an easy way to get one, unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean, you don't need bait and switch, but it's
I can just
nice.
look out for it. I can make that a priority to just really hunt it down. This cool.
Oh, that's so broken. That's broken. Like that's the roll I use.
Oh, sick. Shall I masterwork it? Should we do that?
I mean, probably. Okay, I guess Desperate Measure isn't... Actually, wait, don't masterwork it because I don't know if Blast Radius reduces your damage. Like, it's weird on explosive weapons. So maybe ask your chat first.
Wait, where is blast radius? What is?
No, it's the masterwork gives you more blast radius, but the stats are weird.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe it doesn't, but wait. Anyways.
Okay. Well, still, I've got it locked. So yeah.
Lit from Gold is, I don't know if you know how it works, but when you pick up heavy, it gives you specials.
Yeah. Yeah. I really.
And
like this
Desperate
weapon
Measure is like a crazy easy to keep up damage buff. Probably not on Warlock on Speaker side because you aren't really like killing anything unless you kill them with your melee.
Yeah.
But it's a very good like roll.
Okay.
And also the trait on this weapon, it gives you more super when you get kills with it, and it's like disgustingly like more, like it's a lot of super.
Yeah.
So it's a nice weapon to have. Definitely keep it.
Okay. Oh, that's got disorienting.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's actually pretty decent. Like, go over it. Yeah, even okay. Put on hard launch. Yeah, that more velocity. Actually, I don't know if more velocity is good though, because then it's harder to detonate it where you want to.
What is stability? What is that?
I'm a GL. I don't think it does anything, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
Like recoil doesn't matter if it has only one bullet.
Yeah.
What you want on this weapon is the perk that's called the slide shot. Every time you slide, it reloads, so you can like spam
sick.
like crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty good. Not the best, but pretty good roll.
Better than the other GLs. It has it from gold. One for all isn't bad. Like, definitely keep this. Yeah. Okay, this is not. Okay, high ground is a damage buff if you are above the boss. Now, the odds of you being above a boss, like,
yeah.
I don't think it ever happened in Destiny's history, but okay. I guess it's there.
maybe that means it's gonna happen this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how much it is. It's like 20%, maybe more, but yeah.
So it has Vice, so we like Vice. That's good.
Yeah, we do.
And
it's the most linears. That's not bad.
Okay.
This is broken. Like, that's one of the best machine guns in the game. Like,
let's go. I knew I had a good hammerhead somewhere.
No, like, this is extremely good. I would put on a light mag, like the other magazine. Yeah.
Yeah. And then leave this on.
The barrel is probably fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is extremely good.
Okay. I'll masterwork this then.
I don't know if I want to make you masterwork things, because I don't know if you can use the cores for something else. So like maybe all done.
Okay.
But
okay. What would you just use backup mag on this?
How much does it change it? I'm not sure. Like, go over another mod. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Oh, it was at 53 or 59 to 71. That's quite a big jump.
It's bugged. It's not actually what it says. Like, as you see now, it's 73. But yeah. Anyways.
Okay. So still, this is good. We like this hammerhead.
No, this is extremely good.
Okay.
It's machine guns are more of an adclear weapon. Like, they're pretty bad on bosses.
Okay.
This is okay.
Switch.
So this was one of the best perks in the game. Like, Envious Assassin. The way it works is, if you get kills, like, I'm gonna explain real quick how the perk works. But if you get 10 points, which I think it's either 10 primary kills or 5 special kills, you double your mag.
Oh, okay.
Like, you pull out your weapon and you double your mag, and you can do it twice.
Yeah.
So you can go to like triple mag. The thing is, they nerfed this perk because it was very strong, and they nerfed it in the most terrible way they could have nerfed it. And now if you touch anything in your inventory, like, the perk deactivates. So it's like, you can literally go to your inventory, like, change your boots, and the perk loses all its ammo. So, like, it's basically unusable because you cannot use the loadout system if you use it.
Oh, okay. Got it. So this would have been good because it has bait, but this kind of ruins.
I mean, it's still a good GL. Like, you're just not gonna get the benefits of Envious unless you swap to your damage loadout and you get like 5 kills before damage starts.
Right. Okay.
In which case you will have more in the mag.
Yeah.
Put on backup mag because that brings you to 8 in the mag for sure.
Okay.
And hard launch is very good. It's velocity.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good GL. Anyways, I don't know if you're gonna be using GLs with linears being so good.
And then we have chill as well.
Oh wait. Oh, because you bought that. Okay. No, yeah. I mean, that's fair because you did the Vesper Sauce, right?
Yes.
Did blindfolded. But anyways.
Blindfolded. Yep.
That's. I mean, yeah. There is 0 universe you use like Wicked Sister if you have this.
Okay.
It's
okay. And then this. So this, I guess I've already done it.
No, I mean,
backup mag still.
Yeah. So that's like the reason why weapons like Witherhoard are so good, right? Because both Baited Witch and Envious Arsenal proc when you hit the other 2 weapons. So you can like stick Witherhoard, fire a bullet of your other weapon, and then you fire your entire mag on your heavy. And then Witherhoard is still ticking, right? So you can fire another bullet of your other weapon. You go back to your heavy and it's already reloaded with Envious Arsenal.
Okay.
And you fire another mag, like... and, I mean, if you're ever going to use GLs, you're using this one. Like, you're set.
Okay.
I'm sure people already told you, but you want like 10 resilience. It's the most important stat.
But yeah, where do I get like? Because so I know people have been saying you can get like, is it 16 is the max base roll of resilience on clothing? Is that right or no?
Definitely not.
Oh, okay, I might have just made that up. to be honest.
No, that's like I have one that's like 27 on my helmet right now. So like,
But was that?
I see a 29 here.
Is that 29 once you've added these? Or maybe they can just be higher. Maybe it's just maybe it's like 16 for boring like random legendaries that you get during the campaign. Like,
Maybe, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. So there is Artifice Armor that drops from Master Dungeons, and it has an extra slot for a mod that gives you +3 on a stats of your choice.
Oh yeah, I bought
been...
this with Artifice. I don't know which one this is. Oh, it's got an extra slot.
Oh, that's good. Their class item is the best because it can't be bad because it doesn't have stats. That's nice. Yeah. I don't know if you can farm Artifice Armor. I don't know if it's worth your time either.
Okay.
You should try to get good armor though. Like your goal, I think, is to go into the dungeon with 100 resilience, no matter what, and then try to have as high discipline as possible.
Discipline, okay.
Because you want to spam your grenades.
Yeah, okay.
Because chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's still stuck with benevolence, right? So it should get your nade back faster. When you're done with those two things, prioritize recovery, not because of the health regen, but because it gives you your class ability back faster because it's your class stat.
Okay. On exotics, do the rolls change?
Yeah, I mean the roll is pretty bad, but
okay,
it's fine.
How much does it cost to pull another from collections? Because like if it's the one I'm going to use, the
collection roll is terrible. Like you would need to have an exotic engram and go to Raoul, and then you can focus it.
Okay.
But it's not like you can still get like decent stats with this. I wanted to say on your ghost, you need to the mod that you have because that lets you focus the stats you get. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So like now I am the worst at this. Like I went into the previous raid that people made fun of me on the last raid with 118 resilience, and it doesn't do anything with more than 100.
Right. Yeah.
My stats were like terrible. Yeah. So like I think you want to put on the discipline focusing mod, even if you want resilience.
Where even is that?
Because I think in the top row, both resilience and recovery are good. So like you care more about the bottom row, I think.
Okay.
You can also go to that like screen to the right.
Yeah.
And it shows you your build in a different way. You know, like go back where you were. Click like with your mouse on the right of the screen.
Oh, I see.
Okay. And it shows you like your mods like that too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can see I've not bothered to put any on for the whole time.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think we did a good like recap of the game.
Yeah, that was incredible. Thank you for walking me through so much stuff.
No worries.
I don't think I'm dungeon ready yet, but I'm definitely a lot closer to being dungeon ready than I was before this conversation. Because before this conversation, I was like, yeah, I'll just click heads in the fights and like it'll be fine. But there's a lot more to it these days compared to when I started playing Destiny way back in the day. Is there any other? I feel like we've covered everything. I feel like that's
mostly. I think I might have forgotten something, but you asked me like earlier, what's my thought process when I enter an encounter?
Yeah.
Like in the current meta, it's like if I'm not a boss encounter, I'm probably on a sword and I'm skating around. Unless the room is very tiny and I'm like, okay, I don't need a sword to move around. Yeah. In which case, I can put on a machine gun, or I can put on Xenophage, which is that exotic machine gun I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Now, in most metas, I would just use Tractor Cannon if I don't need a sword for the debuff, but you can't.
Not right now.
Explained.
Yeah.
And then usually I have Sunshot, because exotic primaries have... you remember the Finder mod on the helmet that makes M1 kills? So there is like... The way it works is kills with primaries count for more, and kills with exotic primaries count for even more. So like using exotic primaries has this extra value of you make ammo more quickly with finders. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm probably on Sunshot. There is chances that I'm on double special. If I really need a blinding GL, I can run a blinding GL, then I can run either one of those flamethrower GLs on the other slot or the Choir of One weapon we talked about.
Yeah.
And
which slot is Choir of One in? Where does Choir go?
Special, like middle.
Okay.
Like, energy, sorry.
Yeah.
And if it's a boss encounter, you don't even when you get to a boss encounter and you don't know the mechanics, you don't need to put on a damage loadout. Like you can even run with a sword if you want to figure out the mechanics. Like if you really want to, right? Because the first time you get to damage, you probably don't kill.
Right.
Unless the content is like piss easy, and one would hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
And after that, you usually, looking at the boss model or looking at the damage phase length, you decide if you want a more burst damage loadout or more like total damage loadout, and then you decide if you want a precision weapon or not. Like if a boss doesn't have a crit, then you're not going to use a linear, right?
Right.
Or stuff like that, but it's usually like fairly straightforward. I don't really change my build. Like, unfortunately, the game is unbelievably unbalanced, and so there are like 2 things I can use, or otherwise I'm just trolling, right?
Okay.
So, like Hunter is the only class that has a bit of versatility, but like Warlocks are chained to Solar, Titans are chained to like Solar and Prismatic.
Okay.
Hunters can at least play Void too, apart from Solar and Prismatic.
Right.
Like there is basically no situation in the game where you equip Arc, Stasis, or Strand. Unfortunately, because it's fun, but
yeah, maybe next season or next episode.
Maybe next season.
So we were saying multi-mac on the primary is most likely what I'm going to be using in this slot, and then Choir in energy, and then one of these in this slot, or
yeah, I think you can fly into the dungeon with multi-mac, Choir of 1. And then you go with either a machine gun, like the Void one you have on, or there's no point in using like a GL in an adclear encounter, because the only thing that can happen is that you just kill yourself with it if you hit a target from too close. Like you're not gonna like gain any value.
Okay.
Now it's a bit redundant to run an Emerald with Choir of 1 because they're both very high damage, adclear based weapons, but you also don't really have a sword to skate around, and I don't know what else you would use.
Cool.
So I think you just stay with the machine gun, like.
Okay.
And for
then
boss encounters, you're gonna try to put on a linear, try to like farm one. If people want to farm Master Nightfalls with you, like it's not super unlikely that you get one. If you get like,
are those in the game right now though? Because are those GMs or is that a separate thing?
No, it's Master Nightfalls, but you're so low level that you're not gonna do any damage. Like I don't even know if you can queue them.
Okay.
The thing is, there are I think 7 perks on each slot. So the chances of the God Roll are low, but the chances of getting Beta's Witch is like 1 on 7.
Okay.
So it's not terrible.
That's
if you get like a Scintillation with Beta's Witch, sure you won't have like a reload perk, but you can randomly reload with Vist Stinger.
Yeah.
I think Particle Reconstruction can also help with reloads. I haven't tested the mod, but it does say that.
Okay. And that would go in, that's in the energy slot, right? That's the linear goes here, or no?
No, linears are heavies.
Oh, they're heavy. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, right, yeah. Okay. So the primary, secondary, multi-mac, choir, that won't change pretty much.
Multi-mac and choir is good, or you can easily run this thing you're running right now. Like Call Sunshot is perfectly fine. Like this is a perfect loadout. Like you can play with this.
Okay, sick.
Just play with the Call and then play with choir and see what you prefer. Just keep in mind that rocket sidearms have a very low multiplier against bosses. So like they're gonna seem good against everything else, but if you shoot a boss or a mini boss, they probably do awful damage.
Okay. So if I'm shooting a mini boss, never use the Call, essentially. Yeah.
If you're using a special weapon to damage a boss, it's either a sniper, 140 RPM, or it's a fusion rifle. Everything else is kind of terrible.
Okay. And then if I'm not using a special, then I'm just using...
Ideally, you're using an heavy, and ideally, you're using a linear, I think.
The scintillation. Like, ideally. Okay.
Go to your inventory, real quick.
Like here?
Yes. Okay, that's actually big. So you have 10 of those like ciphers that you get from Nightfalls?
Yeah, we did a lot of those.
Yeah, okay, so
Monday.
Those, you can either spend all 10 of them and get a scintillation with double perks, or you can spend, like, you can pay 1 and get to 1 regular roll. And I think buying 10 regular ones is way better odds than buying 1 with double perks.
Okay.
So you should actually go see if you can do that even right now. Like,
where is
Zavala?
Zavala? Okay.
Yeah, you need Vanguard engrams. Like, they also cost 1 Vanguard engram, but getting some Vanguard rep isn't like the worst thing in the game.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that.
So...
Okay, you do not have any engrams right now. But like, if you go to the first thing, which is focus decoding.
Yeah.
Okay, the very first thing, like don't buy the second one because the second one is gonna cost all 10 your ciphers, right?
Oh, I see. Oh, so Adept is... That's what Adept is.
The double perks one. But it's just like for the double perks and it's borderline useless. So like,
okay.
I think your goal here is to get 10 Vanguard engrams.
Yeah.
And focus 10 scintillations and pray to God you get one with Baiden's Witch.
Okay. So I'll say... So that means when I get a Vanguard engram here, I need to not click it and I need to stack this to 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. So stack that to 10 and then get 10 rolls on this and try and get bait and switch. And if I'm lucky, can I also get one with a reload mod or reload perk, or is that...
okay. So you can get auto loading, but it's a bit nerfed and slow now, and it's not Graviton linears.
Okay.
Because you would have to like damage with like something else, like a fusion, in those like 3.5 seconds where it's proccing.
Right.
And also, you can get, like, the best perk is rewind rounds. The way it works is after your mag ends, depending on how many bullets you hit, it's gonna refund you bullets. So you basically never reload.
Okay.
Your left column perk though is not super important. If you have to reload, it's not the end of the world.
Okay, it's just like that would be if I once I get bait and switch.
Yeah.
If I get one of like, because if I'm gonna have 10 rolls, the roll that has anything that contributes to the reload is gonna be better than anything else. Like that's the key. Assuming
yeah, I mean, you can literally keep them all, put them all in the vault, and then like ask me if you're
fair. Yeah, fair enough.
But I don't think there is anything else that you can get from Zavala that's like remotely usable.
Okay.
Or like, so it's like, at least right now for the dungeon. So like, there is no reason for you to not use all turn your ciphers on that, I don't think.
Okay. And is there, in terms of other characters, when I have other stuff from other people, should I ever stack those with them? Or is it just Zavala for that one linear? And like,
it depends. It really depends on the vendor. Like on some you can focus, on some you can't.
Okay.
Like on this one there is no focusing, so like you can just pull them if you want.
Okay.
I mean, the thing
Sidearm.
Watch out on pulling those, because those like you see they're 1990. I think they're like powerful. It's like they're making you power level.
Well, that's good, I guess, right? I need to do that right now anyway.
Okay, but the way power leveling works is it drops X points above your average.
Yeah.
Are you still
So
with
if
us?
one of your gear is like L low and below your average, to min-max you would want to like not pull another powerful until you randomly drop something on your level, because you can randomly drop things on your level, which will bring your average up by 1, and then your next powerful will be higher by 1. That's a bit of min-maxing, I guess. But
I mean, it's min-maxing. I might need to do. I think I'm at like 1988
yeah, like the
total
thing
right
is
now.
dropped is 1990, right? Your kinetic just dropped. So like keep that. I like to lock things that are the highest power level just because I don't want to accidentally like dismantle them. Then whenever it's time to dismantle them, I do. Or like here it doesn't matter because your ignition code is higher, right? For example. So like that was a wasted drop.
Right. Yeah. So, but it wouldn't have been wasted if
Get the Vanguard.
If it went somewhere
I got
else
random
where-
drops to average everything out, and then it would have been above. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but
Or
like,
it could have been.
that also takes time. Since you're short on time, I don't know how much you can think about min-maxing, but yeah.
Okay. Okay.
If you go to dim, I think it shows you your like the power level of each slot, so you have like a general idea.
Okay. Cool. And I don't know even what this is. I guess I just...
This is more like drops, like it's a Crucible drop, but it's another 1990 drop. I don't know if you want to put it now. Like you can hold on onto it if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hold it for the time being and think
Careful
about it.
now.
Because that I think also these they do scale. So if so that's one that is, it doesn't hurt to hold on to for the time being. Like maybe my weapons will be under leveled and then I'll pull that.
Yeah. Apart from bait and switch, the other damage perk is firing line. So bait and switch is 30% extra damage.
Yep.
After you hit your other 2 weapons, and you gotta refresh it every 10 seconds. Like, I'll explain you how the perk works roughly because it might be confusing, but you can't refresh it. So like until it completely runs out.
Okay.
Hitting your other 2 weapons doesn't like do anything. Once it runs out, then you can hit your other 2 weapons, and then it reprocs.
Okay.
You also need to hit your heavy though, like so. You can either shoot your heavy first and then your other 2 weapons, but that's not recommended because then the timer would start when you hit your like 3rd weapon. The best thing you can do is hit your other 2 weapons, then shoot your heavy. As soon as your heavy hits the first bolt, that procs bait and switch, and then the timer goes.
Like your timer starts
usually when
again.
you use bait and switch, you
Yeah.
want to shoot your heavy last, I guess.
Okay.
In general. I think it's not necessarily, but like it's easier for you, I suppose, if you have never like messed with it. And so that's 30% extra damage. While firing line, I think it's 20. But firing line is just a passive buff. Like you have it if you're close to your 2 teammates. You have to be pretty close, so it's not necessarily gonna happen.
But if we're all in well doing damage, then like fair enough. Like that could be useful. Okay. Cool.
Keep with the switch, keep firing line. I don't know if there are any other damage perks on that weapon. I will actually tell you. I can see it on them.
Okay. I reckon with 10 rolls, like chances of one having bait is pretty good.
Decent. It's actually 6 per slot, not 7. So yeah.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, the damage perks are beta switch, firing line, and surrounded. Now, surrounded is the highest damage perk in the game. I think it's like 40% or even more when enhanced. But you have to be surrounded by 3 or more targets. And that's just not gonna happen.
Okay.
Like, because you're probably like you either have to kill them or it's it very rarely happens. So you can keep a roll with surrounded if you get it, but
okay,
you're probably not gonna like.
I'll prioritize bait and switch, and then if it really comes to it and I need to use the others, then I'll use the others. But like that'll be
prioritize bait and switch. Prioritize having a mag battery. Like there are 6 batteries, 2 of them increase your mag.
Yeah.
Obviously you need to put on the backup mag like the mod.
Yeah.
And one of the mag batteries reduces reload. So if you have the one that does not reduce your reload, that's better.
Okay.
Stat wise, you prioritize I think reload. If you have a damage perk, it doesn't matter. Sorry, if you have a reload perk, it doesn't matter probably. Like if you have rewind rounds, whatever. If you don't, though, you're gonna have to reload manually. So like reload speed is gonna be your best stat.
Yeah.
And I think then you care about handling. It's just nice to swap to it faster since it's bait and switch. And charge time doesn't really matter because if you have like lower charge time, then also the damage is also lower. And the DPS tends to increase, but like those things are very minimal. So you don't care about like charge time or anything like that.
Okay. Well, if I'm going to farm 10, I had better get to work.
Stability is nice because they fire a burst of 3.
Okay.
It's actually very easy to miss.
Okay.
Especially if the boss is like weird.
Yeah, if it's got a really small head or something.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of using those linears because they sound on paper like meta right now, but if you're gonna miss one of the 3 balls, then it's like gonna drop the DPS like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, like I'm gonna be farming it, but I don't know if I'm gonna use it because it really depends on like how easy the boss is to it.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, that I think is.
I'm here.
Yeah, that's tons for me to chew on. Can we just give it up for Salt in the chat real quick? Can we get a little round of applause going? Because that was an incredible amount of knowledge that I can now at least begin to start digesting. It's going to take some time. I'll sleep on it. I'll read all my notes before bed. But yeah, like that was truly like an incredible amount of really, really valuable knowledge. So thank you.
No worries. I'm glad it helped.
I mean, like I obviously Call of Duty Zombies is my bread and butter. That's where I spend most of my time. I wish even like 10% of this depth was in Zombies. It would be a very different game. Like very, very different if it was, but it's so cool to see all of the optimization that you can do. And yeah, I feel like I just saw like I got a window into the Matrix. Like it was great.
Yeah, I mean, I play the game very differently from most people, and I kind of am too. If you want to like compete at a certain level.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
it's a bit sad from a certain perspective because you look at like 99% of the gear and you're like, yeah, I'm never using that. But
Well, I mean, I
also
respect it,
cool.
man. The fact that you're putting that much work in, you're being that refined with it, and it's going to lead to you either being very competitive or just getting the first, I would imagine, on Friday. So like, I can't wait to see your progress that day. How confident are you on getting first? Is it really like a gamble these days, in terms of like, there's just so many teams trying and who knows, or is it like you feel pretty confident you'll be like in the running?
I mean, first of all, there are plenty of extremely good teams, so
Yeah.
I never feel confident in the sense that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna win. Like, I don't know.
Sure. Okay.
I know I'm capable too, obviously. I mean, we did win like 4 times. So,
Yep.
obviously, we're capable of winning, but Dungeon is different from a raid.
Yeah.
I do think it's harder to have 6 good players than to have 3. So it's probably much easier.
Yes, we'll speak again tomorrow.
It's crazy to say, but it's easier to win a raid because most teams won't have like 6 players at the level that
Yeah,
we
there'll
have
be
6
more
players, I guess.
space between the teams at that point. Yeah.
While I'm sure there are way more like teams of 3 that are like very good, so it's probably harder to win a dungeon. Also, I do think we're very good at execution and less at figuring things out. So the harder something is, the better the chances are that we win. And a dungeon is usually easier than a raid. Usually, because last dungeon was hard.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
I don't know. It depends. It's like, you never know. There's also a lot of luck involved because like ultimately, someone figuring out a mechanic like 20 minutes faster could just be luck. Like
Yes.
you need to try a bunch of things and maybe it just works like first try, right? So
Yeah. We have the same in zombies. It's like the races for those Easter eggs. At this point, it's become so much less about like skill, execution, etc., and a lot more about just like throwing yourself at it. And if you happen to do the right thing, you happen to do the right thing, which is unfortunate, but that's also just part of having puzzles, right? That's just part of the game. So yeah,
it's also weird because
yeah, go ahead.
I stream and like during the raids and dungeon nowadays, I have to like blur my buffs and
Yeah.
I have no comms on stream.
Yep.
Because like that's like a middle ground between being able to stream and not giving out everything, I guess.
Yeah.
But other people are like not even streaming to begin with, right? So it's like from that POV, it's like if I gain an advantage, there is a good chance people are gonna copy it in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
While if someone else gains an advantage, I don't even know because they're in streaming, right? So
It's good that you. I was speaking to Bog about how just the race streaming meta has evolved, and like a lot of people just have been doing black screen stuff and stuff like that. And
I did it for like 20 minutes during Salvation over like a 30-hour stream because
Right.
we had something crazy going on we knew we did not know, so like all good.
Yeah.
And I unblacked the screen.
Yeah.
But I hate it. Like I don't know. I'd prefer if everyone was like somewhat forced to like have one player streaming.
Right.
It would be cooler. I don't know. If you want to like qualify, I don't know how you would like regulate
that would be
it, but-
cool. Just even if then I guess teams would just put 1 out of 5, like they would put one person in the corner and the other 5 people doing the encounter.
Like, that's the issue, right? You would have the guy not on mechanics, so it's
Yeah.
sketchy, but
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I still
It's
look.
like scouts, you know, like
Yeah.
like we have like a bunch of people that are like going around. If we fall behind, they tell us what to do. Like it's weird. But
Yeah.
it is how it is, obviously.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you again.
No worries.
Chat. Can we get some hearts in the chat for Soul? And thank you, man. Appreciate you.
No worries. Have fun.
Yes, sir. Talk to you
You.
soon. God damn, that man knows a lot about Destiny. Holy moly. That was amazing. I was just like nerding out the whole time, dude. God, like I feel like I said about like in the conversation, I was speaking for like 2% of it, and most of the time I was just listening like, whoa. That was so good. I feel like I have just discovered a different game. Does that make sense? Like the game is different now. Like completely different. Yeah, I didn't want to talk to be clear, I'm not saying I wasn't talking in like he was yapping. Like, I was sitting there being like, I don't want to say anything right now because I want to just let him get this information out of his head. Like, it was so good. Welcome to Endgame. Bife, I had no idea. I had no idea, dude. That was incredible. I'm so glad we made that happen. Huge, big, fat W's. And I hope he's, I mean, like, I'm rooting for him Friday. Like, after what I just heard, and all the prep that's going into that, and all the theory crafting that's going into it, like, he's got my vote for. Yeah, I'll be rooting for him for sure. That was just insane. That was so insane. So that was a crazy couple of hours with Salt. He was very generous sharing his time. I'm very grateful to him. And we covered so much stuff, but there were a few things that we missed out. And so I scheduled another call with Haminator, who's also been World's First. And Ham covered some of the same things and some different things from a slightly different angle. So if you listen to this whole video and the information just wasn't going into your head, check out the Ham video linked on screen right now. And that one might be a little easier for you to follow and get a better perspective of how to build your loadout effectively for Endgame specifically. I'll see you there.